Decaf Thursday from me and my former office buddy who I miss so much. Ron, how's it going?
I'm doing great, but if you're missing me so much, I keep inviting you over for dinner and you just, keep turning me, Kristen and I down. So I don't know. I
Oh
mean,
my
you
gosh.
could say
No,
this, but I
I
don't.
love I love dinner with Ron and Kristen because Ron always smokes meat, which I love, and we have bourbon and we have cigars. I really do. It's just so cold. Here's the problem. It needs to warm up a little bit so that we
Yeah.
can have dinner outside and smoke our cigars, but I will
Right.
bring the cigars. I actually just told Ron before we got on here that my personal life has been in shambles, and he said, "You know why that is? Because you don't have me advising you every day in the office."
Right. Sometimes you need a guy's perspective on your life. So
I need Ron's brutal, savage honesty from time to time. But I did get to spend some time with Ron just the other day at our National School Choice Week luncheon at the Capitol. That was so much fun. For those of you who don't know, it's National School Choice Week. It is the week of the year where all across the country, school choice advocates, people who have benefited from school choice, celebrate the fact that parents, to a degree in each state, I think, are being given. I think every state has some form of school choice. And even if not, like charter schools or the ability to homeschool, even though the state doesn't help fund it, but we're pushing for that in every single state. And it's kind of exciting to see all the kids come to the Capitol and get to kind of see how government works.
yeah. Well, I mean, it's one of those things like, we work on different policies and stuff every day, right? And then it's just really cool when you see, hey, these are the kids that actually use these things that we work on, right?
I
And so,
know.
helping to mold young minds, or
Which is
giving them
scary for you to get to do.
yeah, or just like seeing how what you do matters and just the different ways that in different environments that kids learn in, right? So it was
100%.
really cool to see and have them up there and like, yeah, what a I mean, I would have thought it was a cool field trip when I was
Sure.
in school to like go up to the Capitol. You get Chick-fil-A, you get to meet all these important people and all that kind of stuff.
Yes, so
So
many elected
hey,
officials joined us. It was so sweet. They got up there and talked about how their children have been schooled and why they're passionate about school choice. And that was even nice for me to hear because I'm not up there advocating every day. And so for me to get to hear more from the elected officials that are really waving the flag of school choice every single day, it was very cool. So National School Choice Week, look it up. Look at all the cute pictures of all the kids with their signs and their yellow scarves. And if you're interested in hearing more about what we've got going on with school choice this year, let me know. Drop a comment below. I can send you some stuff, but we're really excited to get to further explore what an ESA program in Tennessee would look like,
mhm.
what budgeting shifts in Tennessee's school education budget would look like. What am I forgetting, Ron? Am I leaving anything out?
Well, those are two big ones that are being discussed and talked about. I mean, just completely reforming and making it simpler, more transparent, and how we fund schools and how it should follow students, not systems.
Yes,
To giving parents more choice over how to educate their kids, especially, with I don't think anything has been more impacted probably due to COVID other than the healthcare sector than
so
education,
true.
right? With kids in and out of school in many cases. So there's a lot going on. I mean, it is the year of education. That is for sure.
Yeah, and I love to hear it. I love to see it. It's exciting to see that a lot of hard work and a lot of the things that groups like ours have been talking about for 20 years, people
Right.
are finally really seeing the merit in that and wanting to get behind it. So I'm excited.
It's never been more popular, right? I mean,
Right.
it's parents are realizing, hey, one, that they need to be more involved and that they need the tools to, right? And
Yes.
they need to be able to have the resources in order to make a difference in the education of their children.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, I'm very excited for that. And in our case, we currently have a case before the Supreme Court that we're intervening in to try to get ESAs even brought or get the original ESA put in place. And then hopefully we can go from there and make it broad and give all children opportunities. That would be my dream. It would be it. I say this a lot, but my dream is that Beacon never has to work on school choice again because we have everything that we could possibly ask for in Tennessee. So
Yeah.
Cheers to that.
Cheers, absolutely.
Cheers. So another piece of big news this week that I don't know. So who was the last justice to retire? Was it Kennedy?
I think so. Yeah.
When Justice Kennedy retired from the U.S. Supreme Court, I remember hearing whispers of it for weeks. It was really talked about. Ron, this week, did you hear anything about Breyer retiring? I don't think I heard anything.
I don't think so, but I mean, people had been calling for him to,
Sure.
right?
Sure.
People like very, liberal folks were like, hey, we want you to retire so that way, Biden can nominate somebody while Democrats still have a tenuous at best hold of the Senate. So, I think people have been like drafting him to do so and calling for him to do so, kind of like what they did with, Ruth Bader Ginsburg. But apparently I read that he was like very upset that it came out. Like it was kind of like a leak. Like it was not meant to come out like right now. Yikes. So apparently he had been telling the White House or something like that. And it got leaked, and he was like perturbed that it became public,
Can you imagine working in the White House like the last, I don't know, 10 years? There have been so many leaks of information. I'm sure some of them were leaks, but some of them were like real leaks. Like, can you imagine that being where you work and people are just chit-chatting at DC bars and it just gets out? I can't imagine.
That city can't keep any secret for long, right? Somebody's going to say something, and it's only a matter of time, and he should have probably known that,
Right. If you tell one person, it's basically going to be front page news.
Exactly.
So we have a Supreme Court retiree. Ron, do you have any wild and crazy predictions?
Oh man, well, Biden's already said he's going to nominate an African-American female by the end of February.
Right.
I think it is going to be nuts, and really like around somebody. So I was reading. Apparently, so first, you have to go through the Judiciary Committee, right? And then it goes to the floor.
Right.
Well, a little known fact, I guess that's people are kind of fleshing out, is the deal that Mitch McConnell and Chuck Schumer made because, of the tied Senate basically means things like you only need 51 votes if you get to the floor. That's only if you've been recommended by the Senate, and the committees are tied. They're 10 and 10. So what could happen is, my understanding is, if all the Republicans vote no, okay, then it would still go to the floor, but you would need 60 votes instead of only the 50 plus one.
What?
Yes.
John, I did not. Wait. I need you to have a whiteboard. So what you're telling me is the Judiciary Committee is
10-10.
10-10.
Right.
Partisan, across partisan lines.
That was the deal that they made, right? Starting because the Senate is 50-50, right?
Wow. And so if they don't recommend, or if they just send the appointment to the floor without a favorable recommendation,
correct,
you would have to have a 2/3 vote.
Correct. Or no, not 2/3, but 60.
So that means, okay.
So that means you would need 10 Republicans to vote yes, when you couldn't theoretically even get one in committee.
Judiciary.
Yeah. So that could happen. So
wait, this is bonkers. Literally, how did I not know this?
Yeah. So apparently somebody just like was sending me the information. Yeah. It was talked about like in the Daily Wire. So go and look it up. Yeah.
Okay. So, that is insane. I had literally no idea. I knew.
Right. But then
I knew Judiciary was 10-10.
Yes.
I didn't know that the rule was that they could still go to the floor without a favorable recommendation and it up the threshold.
But then
I had no idea.
Supposedly you can't do just the nuclear option of 51 votes.
Wow.
You need 60, supposedly. So, and then here's the other thing too, is let's say a Republican agrees, and so it, goes out of Judiciary 11-9 or more so, right? You get to the floor, what happens with like guys like Manchin or something like that, right? Like,
I know.
I mean, I wouldn't think that he would go against Biden on this, but he
He's
kind of could
really
like,
been burning it down lately. He's been burning
well,
all those
exactly.
bridges,
Maybe he's
baby.
like, oh, y'all been harassing me, following me into bathrooms. I'll show you. I don't know. Like, who knows what happens?
And
So
honestly, I don't put anything past them.
yeah.
If you have gotten to the point where you're a sitting US senator, I don't put anything past you. You do whatever it takes.
I mean, look, I mean, Mitch McConnell, love him or hate him, he is a politicking machine. So you
He
don't think
is.
if that is how it works, you don't think he could be bringing those 10 Republican senators on judiciary and be like, what's our plan here? Like,
I
holy
mean,
smokes.
I'm sure, I am sure the moment they heard they were having some meetings, it
Yeah.
is going to be wild. Oh, to be a fly on the wall in that room. That
Right.
is insane.
Yeah. So I don't know
Wow.
if like the hearings are going to be as wild as, with Trump's appointees, but I
Right.
think the politicking around this one is going to be like nothing we've ever seen
Yeah.
because of the 50-50 tie.
And it's not going to come out. The thing is that none of it's going to come out until after the fact. And then
Right.
someone who is involved in it is going to write a book, and
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
going to read that book because I want to know what happened.
Yeah.
Gosh, I'm here for the drama of the situation. I love it. This is a TV show or like a limited series. Gosh, that is going to be wild. Okay, well, people, if you are as in awe as I am at this information, stay tuned because I feel like we're going to be talking about this a lot because, like I said, here for the drama. Speaking of drama, yikes, Ron had a rough weekend. Listen, all of our sports teams, all of us in our office, except Jason Coleman, had a really bad year with sports.
Yep.
Really sad endings, actually, is kind of the thing. Like Alabama had a good year, but a really sad ending. The Packers had a great year, really sad ending. Ron, walk us through your weekend.
Oh my gosh. So I am a diehard Packer fan. I'm a shareholder. So I'm an NFL owner. Okay. Oh yeah, absolutely diehard. And everyone's talking about, oh, this is Aaron Rodgers' last year with the Packers. They worked it out, all the last year's offseason drama. You want to talk about drama, right? They were posting pictures like the last chance, kind of like Michael Jordan, Scotty with him and Devontae Adams. You go through, you're going to have, you have the best record in football, most consistent team all year. You get, home field advantage, Lambeau Field, all this kind of stuff. And just the craziness of losing without giving up an offensive touchdown. Like,
Yes,
I'm
that
not
is
gonna lie,
insane.
I was in a very dark place. I was just sitting there listening to like Simon and Garfunkel, like "Hello Darkness, My Old Friend." Like,
That's so dramatic.
I mean, I'm just saying, like, so Taylor can attest. So in staff meeting, we have to say what made us happy the past week. And literally my answer was I had enough whiskey to get through Saturday night as a result of that game. It was, yeah. And now it's like, all the games were incredible, right? Like in terms of last second field goals, overtime, all that. I think like we were the biggest favorite as well going into the weekend. And now it's like, so as a Packer fan, you've had Brett Favre and Aaron Rodgers for 30 years. You have 2 Super Bowls to show for it. And we've always been good in the hunt, but have never been able to, like, only twice get over the hump. And now I'm like, are we going to suck now? Like, I'm not used to this. Like, are we going to be bad? Are we going to be the Lions? I can't handle this,
Your
so
fragile heart can't handle it. I tell you, my fragile heart could not handle football this weekend, especially Sunday. My Sunday routine is church, Mexican food with my friends, nap. And so I turned on, what was the afternoon game? It was the Bucks and the
Bucks and Rams. Yeah.
The Rams. I turned on the game. I fell asleep like right before halftime.
Sure.
Woke up mid fourth quarter. And I had expected the Bucks to just come back and be coasting by the time I woke up. I was literally so not worried that I went to sleep.
Yeah.
Woke up to an absolutely shocking end of the game.
Oh, yeah.
Then went to my friend's house for game night. We're playing Settlers of Catan, and we stopped playing to watch the overtime of the Bills Chiefs game. They put their children down, a 1-year-old and a 4-year-old. The children were sleeping. I screamed.
Nice.
I just can't be trusted with football. I thought that my blood pressure did as bad as it could do on Saturday.
Mhm.
And then Sunday came along. But
Yeah.
win or lose, you gotta love just a great football weekend. I mean, that's why
Well,
you play the game.
well, first, this is why a lot of people call divisional playoff weekend the best weekend in sports,
Yes.
because you can see every single playoff game. They go back to back to back and they're all in one weekend, right? So
Yes.
that's why a lot of people call this, and I mean, this was probably the best ever. And then, of
Wow.
course, we should mention the Titans, who, like the Packers, 1 seed on a bye. I mean, you get 9 sacks
I was
and you
about to say,
still lose. I mean,
but
you know,
what, 3 turnovers?
yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
so apparently 3
So good.
turnovers outweigh 9 sacks, but Derrick Henry came back after his
No,
injury, played okay, not crazy,
not great.
but not great. But I mean, hey, it's your first game back in how long? You got to expect some kind of rust. So what a crazy weekend. I don't know who I'm rooting for. I guess the best I can hope for is good games the rest of the way as well. But I'm just
I
sitting
know
here
I
thinking,
can't
like,
say that I care. I really
yeah.
can't say that I care about anything else, you know?
Yeah, I know. I mean, I don't want the Chiefs to, like, okay, that means they'll have been like Super Bowl 3 years in a row. I kind of don't like the Rams just for like, oh, we're going to show you, we're going to build like a NBA super team and then have them win it,
No.
but San Fran kicked out the Packers, so I hate them. And I don't want them to win, and then I guess Cincinnati and Joe Burrow. I mean, it's kind of fun. Like,
But
they're
I
kind of cool
hate
teams.
Joe Burrow, but I guess I'm a Bengals fan now. I mean, Mark told me Mark is a sports better. And so
Yeah.
if the Bengals win, I'm gonna make him take me to dinner to cure my woes from Alabama losing.
Well, I mean, and
This.
here's the thing too, while they're fun to watch, they have the worst offensive line in probably the NFL. That's why they got sacked 9 times. So then it's like, okay, now you got to go up against the Chiefs. And then if you make it, you're going up either against the Rams with their crazy D line or the 49ers, who Packers have a good one. We got sacked 5 times by them. So
Right.
like Joe Burrow might not be alive in a month if they make it to the Super Bowl.
I
Who
know.
knows?
I all I'm seeing is like, remember in those old Looney Tunes things where they would like drop the anvil on their head and they had like the
Yeah.
scratches and like the yellow and red like crazy eyes.
Yeah, that could be.
That's how I see Joe Burrow here in a few weeks. I don't know. We'll see. I can't wait to keep talking about it. I love sports. I tell people all the time, like, I know a lot about 2 things: pop culture and sports. That's all I got. That's all I can do. I got nothing else in the noggin. But yeah, it was super fun. But before we go, I love when Ron joins me on the podcast, but I want everybody to know more about my friend Ron.
Oh boy.
And this isn't a roast per se, but I will say that Ron is so into YouTube,
Oh, yeah.
like maybe like 14-year-old boy level of into YouTube. Like he just really never got past it, which is no complaints here. You've always sent me really funny stuff, but
Yeah.
you watch more YouTube than
Oh, yeah.
anyone I have ever met. And
Oh,
so
yeah.
let's get Ron's top 5 of
Oh,
things
man.
that you watch on YouTube that you would recommend to others, not just your niche interests, but
Okay.
the top 5 things that you enjoy that you would recommend to our audience.
Okay. All right. So a couple of things I would say are, one, dry bar comedy clips. If you've never heard of them, Dry Bar is a comedy show out in or venue out in Provo, Utah, and everything they have is clean. So,
Yeah, I like that.
and
Okay.
yes, and so they're really funny. And you used to be able to watch the full shows for like free on their app. I don't know if you can anymore. I don't think so, but you can at least get good clips. I mean, they've had people who have gone on to like America's Got Talent and stuff like that
I
on
like
there.
that. Okay.
So yeah, so they've had some big, so they've had some big names on there. So sometimes I try to oscillate between really serious stuff and then really goofy, funny stuff.
Yes.
And so that's a great place to go. Dry Bar comedy.
Dry Bar comedy. Love it.
Yeah. So that's number one. All right. So then on the nerdy side, I've gotten Joe hooked on these, if you can imagine, is the Kings and Generals. Kings and Generals.
So nerdy.
Oh yeah. They do like 20-minute history documentaries from battles from all over history. Fascinating. And it's really good production stuff too. I'm just saying. Don't knock it till you try it.
I'll give it a chance.
Don't knock it till you try it. Another favorite subgenre of mine is reaction videos.
Okay.
And
Yes.
so there's this like growing genre of like young, particularly African American guys, like reacting to like listening to Led Zeppelin for the first time or AC/DC for the first
Yes.
time. And it is hysterical.
So
They're like,
funny.
it's so funny. They've never heard these like this music that I listened to growing up because my dad loved classic rock and roll,
Yes.
and they've never heard it, kids these days, whatever.
Yes.
And they're like, boy, these guys are really banging. And it's like really funny stuff. So I love that.
Okay. Number
Um,
4.
yeah, so you could go like No Life Shack is a great reactor, or somebody else. I don't know.
I gotta watch some more of these. I love it.
Yeah, Screwface Gene is a really good reactor too. So I'm just
I love
saying.
it so much.
And then probably also my biggest binge habit is epic rap battles of history. So
Okay. It is so nerdy, but even I like these.
oh, they're so
They're
funny.
so good.
They're so good. So if you've never heard of it, for the longest time, like in the mid 2010s, I guess,
Mhm.
early 2010s, it was the biggest, most subscribed channel on YouTube.
Yes.
I mean, literally, the guys kind of took a lot of breaks and stuff like that. But still, if you go back and listen to, and so they pick 2 people from history and do like dueling rap battles.
Love
And
it.
yeah, and so I mean, they'll take somebody, sometimes it's fictional characters, but most of the time they're real life. So for
Sure.
example, like, and they try and have some kind of common theme. So you got William Wallace versus George Washington, right? 2 freedom fighters.
Yes.
Um,
They had one of the first ones I ever saw was Hayek and Keynes.
yes, Hayek and Keynes is another. So the 2 economists,
Mhm.
you've got like Ivan the Terrible versus Alexander the Great, right? Is a
Love
really good
it.
one. Or a funny one is like the 4 Italian Renaissance artists, like Michelangelo, Leonardo, Raphael, and Donatello versus the Ninja Turtles, Michelangelo, Leonardo. Yeah, so things like that.
It's
And
cute.
oh yeah, and then of course you can merge the 2 together, and you can watch like there are actual rappers who react to the battle rapping of epic rap battles. So that's really funny too.
That's what happens when you. This is what happens when you spiral, kids.
I'm just saying, but like, or another really like you could do Miley Cyrus versus Joan of Arc, like, so there's
I'm
one.
in. I gotta watch more of these.
Okay,
What's your
so,
fifth? What's your fifth recommendation, Ron?
oh, wasn't that 5?
Oh, maybe that was 5. Maybe I
I think
lost
that was
count.
5.
Okay, rap battles. I guess was
That's
5.
Yeah, that's plenty enough for people in my opinion.
Yes.
So I sent you
Okay.
on the rabbit hole enough as it is. So
Well, to all of you out there who read Ron's work and are trying to understand his brain, because sometimes he writes things and I'm like, who lives in there? This is who
now
lives in
see,
there.
now you know how I can come up with all these references, right? In
Yes.
like pop
Makes
culture,
so
like
much sense.
movie references, all of that,
Makes
it's because I'm
so much
watching you.
sense.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
It makes all the sense in the world. I love it so much. Well, Ron, thank you so much for being on here with me this week. I love getting to hang out with you and getting to talk. And I feel like tonight after my Bible study, I'm probably gonna YouTube spiral, and I blame you. Well, thanks so much. We'll see you
the
guys
credit.
next week. Holler at me if you want to get more information on what's going on in education these days. And aside from that, Ron, thanks so much. We'll see y'all later.
See ya.